Alright, we're going to check out the SOG Altair XR. This has the XR lock, which I'm assuming is a crossbar lock, cryogenically hardened steel, CPM 154, which is great. I love that steel. Ambidextrous, swappable clip, and hidden fasteners. GRN handle, swappable lanyard loop or pocket clip. All right. Its weight here, it says 1.9 ounces with a 3.2 inch blade. Overall length of 7.2 inches. So let's open this up. Looks like we have another back spacer in the package. I'll take a look at that later. Here's the knife. They said it was lightweight. It is lightweight and very slender. We have a full flat grind. Made in Taiwan, not China. We have a big thumb stud there out of polymer, which is going to get in the way of sharpening. You can see how it's in the cutting path. So you just have to kind of tilt this as you sharpen it. Otherwise you're going to scuff that thumb stud up. It is running on bearings. It is well centered. The thumb stud is in a nice location, so you can get it and push it straight up. And then I messed it up. And it comes out good. The FRN, it does have a lot of texture in it. And jimping up along here. That helps. It's very slender, so it seems it's not uncomfortable in the hand, but it does kind of seem like it might not be the surest grip. So the belt clip is interesting. It's actually anchored inside. So it's extremely deep carry. Let's see if we can get some very, very deep carry. No bolts or screws or anything underneath that pocket clip. The pocket clip is, it has a lot of tension. I'm not sure why it needs so much tension due to its light weight. Let's see what my scale says it is. 2.06. I say it's just over 2 ounces. And what did they say here on the box? 1.9. So, close. Nice thin blade stock. It's going to be interesting to see the sharpness on this. The grind looks like it's well done, but I do feel just a little bit of burr. But I bet it's going to be a heck of a slicer. Kind of curious. Let's see what the blade stock thickness is. So we have 0.076. Yeah, at its thickest, excuse me, at its thickest, it's 0.08, 80 thou thick. So that is very, very thin blade steel, which I like for such a small, lightweight knife. I like thin blade stock. I want this thing to be just a slicer. There's no way I'm taking this knife out for heavy duty stuff. This is going to be a great carry option when you're wearing lightweight pants or something. So let's compare it to some of its major competitors. Number one major competitor would be the Bugout, obviously. This Bugout, you know, I could weigh it, but it's got G10 handles. So it's not a true comparison of what the normal FRN Bugout would be. The CJRB Pyrite Light. And the Hogue Deca. They all are lined up with their pivots all in a line so you can see the size. Honestly, they have differences and everything, but they're all pretty much the same sized knife. Let's see on the handle thickness here and compare it to the G10 Bugout. Handle thickness is a 0.415. The G10 Bugout is a 0.422. So man, they're almost the same. They're real close. And they feel a lot the same. The biggest difference I got when I squeeze these two the Bugout has less sharp corners. It's more finished and rounded. Is a little bit more comfortable. If you really have to squeeze on it, the Bugout is just a little bit more comfortable. These areas inside here are not finished. So when you squeeze, you could feel these sharp edges along the inside. Doesn't hurt, but it's just a comfort thing, right? The jimping is sharper on the SOG than on the Benchmade. But honestly, they're both very, very similar. I don't think the Benchmade will do anything the SOG can't do, and vice versa. This M4 Bugout has 0.090, so it's just slightly thicker blade. Yeah, that thing's a featherweight. Nice action when you pull that crossbar lock. It pulls itself closed from way up here too. Right about there, it's starting to pull. There we go. Let's see. There's no up and down movement and only a slight amount of side to side movement. I think it just has small bearings, and so you're going to get some side-to-side movement. It does not appear that the pivot is captive. So if I were to need to tighten the pivot, it's probably a T6, it looks like. And you're going to need 2 of them to go in from both sides. That's kind of a bummer. But shouldn't really affect me too much. The button for the crossbar lock, the XR lock they call it, has this milling on it. That milling is sharp. It catches your finger. The same is true of the thumb stud. Now, I don't think that's a bad thing, because when you're going to operate it, it makes it really easy. It's just one of those things you're going to notice if you're sitting here handling the knife. You're going to feel all these little points where things aren't quite chamfered or smoothed over. The finish is applied really nice. I don't know what kind of finish it is. I'm sure it's not PVD. But it's still nice. Why don't we take this up to the Rockwell tester? Now, since this is a full flat grind, I'm going to have to test it up in here. It should still give us a pretty decent idea. It's just, I wouldn't, when you have to test on a bevel like this, it's not going to be perfect. Everybody that's ever Rockwell tested knows that. I know that, but I'm not going to take this knife apart to punch that. So we're going to punch it there and see what we get. And then we ought to be able to draw some conclusions. If it punches super low, then the chances are it's a fairly soft blade. If it still punches up high, hopefully it's approaching 60, then I think that the CPM 154 will, we can assume that it is heat treated to a good degree. So let's go over to the Rockwell tester and we'll give it a go. All right. Lay it on there. Sorry for the wiggling of the camera. I gotta figure out a better method to attach the camera when I'm doing this. It's just that this Rockwell tester sets so high. All right. Give it a few seconds here. We want to make sure that that needle is stopped completely. It's still moving a little bit. All right. Let's see what we got. All right, so we're at 57 and a half. Let's head back to the bench. So we got 57 and a half. Now, again, I had to punch up here on a slight bevel. So everybody knows 57 and a half, it's probably at touch low, which means this is in the upper 50s, probably 57 to 59, which when I make a knife with CPM 154, I usually run it harder than that, but it's acceptable. This is gonna take a good edge. It's not gonna be that hard to sharpen. it's going to still, no matter what, slice like a demon because of this edge geometry and the thickness of the steel. Okay, I've got SOG Altair XR. Let's see what kind of sharpness we got out of the box. .162. Okay, that's pretty respectable. That's definitely in the upper 50% of the knives that I've tested the sharpness on. Let's see if it wants to eat any magazine pages. Real interested to carry this and use it on a daily basis with such a thin blade stock. It does still have just a little bit of burr. I can feel the burr going through here. So I'm definitely going to strap this. After that, I think it's going to be pretty much ready to go. Won't take much to strap it. They have a decent edge on it already. So, the SOG Altair, I think it is a very inexpensive alternative to a Bugout. That's what I think. You know, there's other alternatives to Bugout with the Hogue Deca, the Pyrite Light. You have your choice. You like a button lock, or do you like these three crossbar style locks? But if you're wanting a budget knife, this one or the CJRB is your only bet out of these selections that I put up here. They're very different knives. Button lock versus crossbar. Yeah, she's solid. So take a look at the SOG Altair. It can't hurt. It's not going to set you back much money, and it's super slender and slippery. I think it's going to be really nice in and out of the... Actually, I'll try it in and out of the pocket right now. So, okay. This part right here is kind of turned down just a touch. This is not that easy to get over the lip of my jean pocket. Once it's over the lip, this slides down nice and it rides deep, of course. But the tension on this clip is high. Once this is in your pocket, you're not going to have to worry about it falling out. You could go jogging, you could do whatever you want. It's going to stay put. That's for sure. It's not going to be the best for a constant in and out of the pocket. But you could always take some of that tension out, I imagine. Okay, well, that ought to do it for today. The SOG Altair, a pretty nice budget option to a Bugout. I think is going to be a good work knife. I like the CPM 154 steel, so they didn't go with a cheap garbage steel. And this isn't a super cheap knife. The Pyrite Light's a lot less expensive than this was, but still, I I think it's a good quality knife. This thin blade stock is going to be fun to work with. That's for sure. Thanks for watching, everybody. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next time.